I doubted myself for months. He made it easy. Every time I felt that cold, twisting feeling in my stomach, he told me I was being paranoid. Every time he hit his phone, he told me I was crazy. I believed him. I believed I was the problem, right up until the moment she sent me the screenshots. My camera roll told the whole story. If you scrolled back 6 months, you saw us. Ben and me, his arm around my shoulder, me laughing, him kissing my cheek at the basketball game. The posts were bright, a little blurry, and happy. But as you scrolled up toward today, the feed went dark. The pictures of us stopped. They were replaced by photos I took of the skyline, my lunch, a new pair of shoes. Pictures of me, alone. That's what I was thinking about at the coffee shop. The air was thick with the smell of dark roast and sugar. A milk steamer hissed from the counter, a high-pitched sound that cut through the low hum of conversation. I traced the rim of my cup. The ceramic was warm, but the coffee inside was already getting cold. Across the small metal table, Ben wasn't looking at me. He was looking at his phone. His thumb moved fast, swiping and tapping. A small private smile played on his lips. It was a smile I missed. It was a smile I hadn't seen in weeks, not directed at me anyway. He wore his denim jacket even inside like he was ready to leave at any moment. I waited. I counted the seconds, listening to the espresso machine grind beans. I made it to 30 before I gave up. What you smiling at? His smile didn't just fade, it disappeared. His thumb hit the lock button. The screen went black. The click of the button was loud in the space between us. He slid the phone into his jacket pocket. "Nothing," he said. His voice was flat. "Just a meme." "Oh," I tried to sound casual. I took a sip of my lukewarm coffee. "You've been on your phone a lot," he sighed. It was a long, heavy sound that made my shoulders tense. He looked up finally, but not at my eyes. He looked somewhere over my head, at the menu board behind me. "Maya, please don't start." A hot, prickly feeling spread across my chest. "Don't start what?" "I just asked a question. You always do this." He leaned forward, his voice dropping. "You're so paranoid. I'm right here, aren't I?" "I am. I'm right here. I'm not allowed to ask questions." I looked down at my cup. "Sorry," I mumbled. He sat back, grabbed his own drink, and took a long sip. He didn't take his jacket off. The next few weeks, the pattern set. It was a pattern I learned to ignore. On Tuesday, I texted him. "Movie night Friday? My place." I watched the delivered receipt turn into read. I put my phone down on my desk, did 3 pages of algebra, and checked again. Nothing. An hour later, his reply came. Project. Just that. No, sorry. No, how about Saturday? Just project. On Saturday, I was scrolling through my feed. A story popped up, a friend of a friend. It was a short video, no sound, from a party. I saw Ben in the background. He was standing by the kitchen counter, laughing with a group of people. The same easy laugh I'd seen in the coffee shop. He wasn't working on a project. I went to his profile. The green active now dot glowed next to his name. I texted him, "Hey, I watched the dot." I watched it for 10 minutes. It stayed green. My message stayed on delivered. He was online. He just wasn't online for me. The next week, I cornered my friends at our lunch table. I explained the texts. I explained the active now dot. "Maya, chill," Sasha said, popping a chip into her mouth. "He's a senior. He's busy with college apps." "You're overthinking it." "She's right," another friend added. "Guys are just bad at texting. If you act all needy, you're just going to push him away." Needy, paranoid, obsessed. The words echoed in my head. I went home and scrolled back through our old messages. The ones from 6 months ago. Back then, he was the one double texting. He was the one sending good morning messages. What had I done wrong? I looked at myself in the mirror above my dresser. My hair was messy. I had a small pimple on my chin. I looked tired. I looked needy. I was the problem. I was being paranoid. I was the one who needed to fix this. I picked up my phone. His chat window was still open. "Hey, delivered." I forced my fingers to type. I had to be better. I had to be the cool, non-paranoid girlfriend he liked. "No problem about the project," I wrote. "Hope you got it done. Let me know if you're free later." I hit send. And then I sat on my bed staring at the wall and waited. The art room was the quietest place in the school. The only sounds were the scratching of charcoal on paper and the slow click thump of the big wall clock. It smelled like clay, sharp turpentine, and old wood. I was supposed to be finishing my final project, a self-portrait. But the face staring back at me from the canvas looked wrong. The eyes were hollow, the mouth a tight, worried line. It looked like a stranger. I put my brush down, wiping my hands on my apron. My phone was in my pocket. I could feel it, heavy and silent. Ben hadn't answered my last text. That was 12 hours ago. I dipped my brush in the murky water cup. I needed to focus. My gaze drifted across the room. We sat at large circular tables. At the table by the window, Chloe was working. She was in my class all year, but I probably hadn't said more than 10 words to her. She was quiet. She wore dark sweaters, kept her hair pulled back, and never raised her hand. She was working on a sculpture, her fingers moving quickly, shaping a piece of wet gray clay. She was completely focused, her brow furrowed. She didn't look up, not even once. She just worked. I wondered what it was like to be that focused, to be able to shut the rest of the world out. The bell rang, a loud, jarring buzz that shattered the peace. Everyone jumped, dropping brushes and pushing back stools. I cleaned my station slowly. I didn't want to go to the cafeteria. I didn't want to sit with my friends and pretend to listen while they talked about prom. I didn't want them to ask, "How's Ben?" But I was hungry. The cafeteria was the opposite of the art room. It was chaos. The air smelled like old pizza, floor cleaner, and sweat. Hundreds of conversations bounced off the high ceiling, creating a wall of noise. I got in line, grabbed a plastic-wrapped sandwich, and paid. I scanned the room. My friends were at our usual table, waving me over. Sasha was already in the middle of a loud story, gesticulating with a fork. I started walking toward them, weaving through the crowd, and then I saw him. Ben. He was supposed to be at the library. He texted me that morning. Library all day. College stuff. He was standing near the vending machines, a backpack slung over one shoulder. He wasn't alone. Chloe from my art class was standing in front of him. I stopped. My tray felt suddenly heavy. They weren't standing close. They weren't touching. It didn't look flirty, but it looked easy, familiar. I was too far away to hear them over the noise, but I could see their faces. Chloe was speaking. Ben was listening, really listening. He wasn't on his phone. He was looking right at her. She said something, and Ben's face broke into a smile. It wasn't the small, private smile I saw in the coffee shop. It was a real, genuine laugh. He threw his head back for a second, his eyes crinkling. It was the laugh I hadn't heard in months. The laugh that used to be for me. My stomach twisted. It was a physical, painful sensation, like I'd swallowed something sharp. Chloe smiled back. A small, shy smile. Then Ben nodded, said something else, and she turned and walked away. Ben pulled his phone from his pocket as he turned, his expression settling back into the neutral, bored mask I knew so well. He glanced around the cafeteria. He didn't see me. He just started walking toward the exit, his thumb already swiping across his screen. I stood there for a full minute, frozen. People pushed past me, bumping my shoulder. He was just talking to her. It's not a big deal. She's in his physics class. He told me that once. They were probably talking about homework. "You are being paranoid, Maya." I repeated the words in my head, a mantra. "You are paranoid. You are crazy. You are the problem." I took a deep breath. The smell of pizza made me feel sick. I walked over to my table. "Maya, you look pale," Sasha said, not pausing her story. Anyway, so I told him. I sat down. I unwrapped my sandwich. The bread was dry. I forced myself to take a bite. I was overthinking it. I had to be. That night my bedroom felt cold. I sat on the edge of my bed, my desk lamp casting a small yellow circle on my homework, which I hadn't touched. The rest of the room was dark. All I could see was that laugh. Ben, in the cafeteria, laughing with Chloe. It was fine. It was nothing. He was allowed to have friends. I was being crazy. I was being paranoid. I picked up my phone. The screen lit up, illuminating my face. I opened our chat. The last message was mine, from that morning. Library all day. College stuff. I had replied with a thumbs up emoji. He hadn't even liked the message. I had to try. I had to be the normal, casual girlfriend. The one who wasn't paranoid. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. "Hey," I typed. "Just checking in. Any chance you're free this weekend?" I stared at the message. It looked okay. Not needy. I hit send. The little green dot was on. Active now. I watched the screen, holding my breath. I waited for the 3 little dots to appear, showing he was typing. They didn't. I put the phone face down on my comforter. I stood up. I walked to my desk, picked up a pencil, and read the same algebra problem 3 times. I didn't understand a word of it. I walked back to my bed. I picked up the phone. He had read it. The message receipt was there, but there was no reply. I sat down, my stomach tightening. I refreshed the app. Still nothing. I was about to text again. "Did you get my message?" When the 3 dots finally appeared, my heart did a stupid little jump. He was typing. The dots vanished. Then a new message popped up. A single blue bubble. "K," that was it. Not "no," not "I'm busy." Just the letter K. I stared at it. I read it over and over. K. It was so cold. It was so empty. It was less than nothing. It was a door slamming in my face, and just like that, everything broke. All the walls I had built, all the excuses I had made for him, all the times I had called myself crazy, they all just crumbled. I wasn't crazy. I was hurt, and I was being treated like I was nothing. The feeling in my chest wasn't a prickle anymore. It was a huge aching hole. Tears welled up in my eyes, hot and sudden. They blurred the screen. I started typing. I didn't think. I just wrote, "I can't do this anymore." I deleted it. Too dramatic. "Ben, what is wrong with you?" Deleted. Too angry. I took a shaky breath and started again, the tears now rolling down my cheeks and dripping onto the glass screen. I had to wipe it on my sleeve to keep typing. "Ben, I feel so lost. I don't know what's going on with us. For months I felt like I'm going crazy. Every time I try to talk to you, I feel like I'm being paranoid or needy or obsessed. I don't want to be that person. I'm trying so hard not to be, but I feel so alone. You're always busy, or you're on your phone and I feel like you're not even here. I feel like I'm annoying you just by existing. I saw you in the cafeteria today. You looked so happy, and it hurt. Because you don't look at me like that anymore. I miss you. I miss us. I miss the way things used to be. Can you please just talk to me? Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what to do. I don't know what else to do. I just feel like I'm breaking." My thumb hovered over the send button. My whole hand was shaking. This was it. This was everything. I was handing him my broken, messy feelings in a single, giant blue bubble. He could fix it, or he could crush it. I hit send. The message went through. I watched the little delivered text. A second later, it changed. Read. He read it. He read the whole thing. I sat there, my phone clutched in my hand, my body perfectly still. The room was silent except for my own breathing. I waited. For the 3 dots. For the phone call. For anything. Nothing came. Just the read receipt, staring at me from the empty dark. I didn't move. I sat on the edge of my bed, my back rigid, my eyes locked on the screen. Read. The word was a tiny, gray tombstone under my wall of blue text. My tears dried on my face, leaving my skin feeling tight and cold. The silence in my room was absolute. I couldn't even hear traffic outside. My phone screen dimmed, went black, and I'd tap it again, just to be sure. Just to see that one silent word. Read. He had read it. He had read my heart, and he said nothing. I don't know how long I sat there. It felt like hours. I had passed from crying into a strange, hollow emptiness. I wasn't waiting for a reply anymore. I was just stuck. My phone vibrated. My whole body jumped. The phone clattered from my hand onto the comforter. My heart was pounding, a painful, heavy thump, thump, thump against my ribs. I stared at it. It couldn't be. I picked it up slowly. It wasn't Ben. The notification on the lock screen wasn't from him. It was a new message. From a number I didn't recognize. My brows furrowed. I unlocked my phone. A new empty chat bubble. Unknown. Is this Maya? I froze. Who was this? I didn't give my number out. Maybe it was a wrong number. But they used my name. My fingers felt thick and slow as I typed. Maya. Who is this? The reply was almost instant. The 3 dots appeared and then a bubble. Unknown. This is Chloe from art class. Chloe? My mind flashed to the art room. The quiet girl, the clay. The cafeteria. My confusion turned into a cold spike of dread. Why was she texting me? How did she get my number? Maya, how do you know Ben? That was the only question I could think to ask. Chloe, I saw you in the cafeteria today. My stomach dropped. I remembered her talking to Ben, his laugh. Chloe, and I saw Ben's text from you. He showed it to me. I had to read that line 3 times. He showed it to me. He took my message, my long, painful, vulnerable paragraph, and he showed it to her. The girl from the cafeteria. The girl from art class. I couldn't breathe. The air in my room was too thick. It wouldn't go into my lungs. Before I could type what? A new bubble appeared. Chloe. I'm so sorry, Chloe. You're not crazy. That word. Crazy. The word I had been calling myself for months. Chloe. He's been telling me you two were breaking up for months. Chloe. He told me you were obsessed, paranoid, needy, the words he used on me. He was using them on her too. About me, I couldn't feel my hands. I couldn't feel my face. I was just a pair of eyes, staring at a bright white screen that was showing me the truth. My thumb was shaking so badly I could barely type. Maya. What? Chloe. I didn't know, I swear. I thought he was telling the truth. I thought you were, like he said. Chloe. But when he showed me that text tonight, and I saw what you wrote. Chloe. He laughed about it. My phone vibrated again. And again. And again. It wasn't a text this time. Buzz. A blue bubble appeared. It was an image. Buzz. Another one. Buzz, buzz, buzz. My screen filled up. They were coming in fast, one after another. A long, rapid-fire list of gray boxes, downloading one by one. They were screenshots, dozens of them. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. It vibrated against my palm, a frantic, angry energy. One after another, the gray boxes loaded, turning into tiny, sharp images that stacked up on my screen. I couldn't move. I just watched them arrive. My thumb, moving on its own, tapped the first one. It was a chat. Blue bubbles, gray bubbles. Ben and Chloe. My eyes found the timestamp. Last week. Ben, you're the only one who gets me. My breath hitched. He had said those exact words to me. In this room, sitting on this bed. He said it to me in August when we first got together. He'd used the same line on both of us. I scrolled down. My thumb was shaking. The next screenshot. A timestamp from 2 months ago. October 14th. I knew that date. That was the night he canceled our dinner. He had a big project. He had to study. I saw my own text, forwarded into their chat. Okay, hope studying goes well. Love you. 10 minutes later, Ben's message to Chloe. Ben, I'm free. Finally. Chloe, wanna talk? Ben, yes. God, yes. A cold, hard knot formed in my stomach. The entire night I had sat at home, alone, feeling guilty for being disappointed. I'd sent him a text telling him not to work too hard. He was talking to her. I kept scrolling. The screenshots were a blur, a long, devastating history of my relationship told from the outside. Ben. She's being so paranoid again. She just asked me why I didn't answer her text from last night. Ben. I'm so tired of this. I can't wait for this to be over. Chloe. Why don't you just break up with her? Ben. It's complicated. She's obsessed. She'd probably lose it. Obsessed. Paranoid. Complicated. I was the complication. I was the problem he had to deal with. I scrolled and scrolled, my thumb moving faster. My vision was blurry, but I wasn't crying. I was just empty. All the air had been punched out of me. Every lie, every canceled plan, every "you're overthinking it" was right here. In black and white, I scrolled past dozens of them. I don't know why she's like this. I'm just trying to keep the peace. She's so needy. Then I reached the end. The last screenshot. The most recent one. It was from an hour ago. It was a picture of my own phone screen. My words. My long, desperate, vulnerable message. The one I had written while I was crying. The one I had poured my entire heart into. He had taken a screenshot of it, and he had sent it to her. Underneath my wall of text, under all my pain, was his one-line caption, "Ben, see what I have to deal with?" Chloe's text from just moments ago rang in my head. He laughed about it. He laughed. I stared at the screen. I stared at my own words being used as a punchline. The hot, prickly feeling in my chest was gone. The aching hole was gone. I didn't feel anything at all. Just a strange, heavy cold. A terrible, quiet certainty. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I was right. The buzzing in my hand had stopped. The room was quiet again. My screen was a bright white rectangle in the dark, showing the last, most painful screenshot. See what I have to deal with? I didn't cry. I had no tears left. I just felt still. The terrible, aching anxiety that had lived in my stomach for months, the one that made my hands shake and my heart race, was gone. It didn't fade away. It just stopped. In its place, a strange, cold feeling settled in. It started in my chest and spread out to my fingers and toes. It was quiet. It was clear. I wasn't crazy. My intuition had been screaming at me. For months. In the coffee shop, at the lunch table, in the cafeteria. It had been a loud, constant alarm, and I had spent all my energy trying to silence it. I had called it paranoia. I had called it neediness. It was just the truth. I wasn't broken. I wasn't obsessed. I was just right. My thumb moved. It felt heavy, but it was steady now. I scrolled up, past all the tiny pictures of his betrayal, back to the top of my chat with Chloe. Her last message was still there. He laughed about it. I tapped the text bar. Maya, thank you for telling me. I sent it. I didn't need to say anything else. She wasn't my friend, but she had done what no one else would. She had shown me the truth. A moment later, the 3 dots appeared. Chloe was typing. I didn't wait to see what she would say. I didn't care. This wasn't her story. This wasn't our story. This was her and Ben's story, and I was done being a part of it. I tapped her name at the top of the screen. I scrolled down the contact page. I found the button, block this contact. I pressed it. A pop-up asked me to confirm. I pressed block again. The chat window closed. She was gone. My screen returned to the main message list. His name was still at the top, Ben. His chat was still open. My long blue bubble paragraph sat there, unanswered. That single, silent read receipt. It had been almost 2 hours. He hadn't replied. He had read my pain, screenshot it, sent it to another girl, laughed about it, and then nothing. He just left me there, waiting in the dark. I went back to my camera roll where the screenshots had saved. I didn't look at the last one. I scrolled up. I found the one from last week. Ben. She's being so paranoid again. That was the word. Paranoid. The word he used to silence me. The word I used to silence myself. I held my finger down on the image. A menu popped up. I tapped copy. I went back to our chat. I tapped the text bar. I pressed paste. The screenshot appeared in the message window. His words. His lie. I didn't type anything else. I didn't add a question mark. I didn't write why or how could you. I didn't need to. The picture said everything. My thumb hovered over the send button. This was the last thing I would ever say to him. I pressed it. The blue bubble appeared. It was sent, delivered. For a second, nothing happened. Then, instantly, read. The 3 dots appeared. They flashed on the screen, fast and frantic. He was typing. He was typing and deleting and typing again. The dots danced for almost a minute, and then my phone screen went black. A new screen appeared. His face, a picture I had taken at the beach last summer. His name, Ben. Incoming call. The phone buzzed loud and harsh on my comforter. The sound was violent in the quiet room. I stared at his smiling face. The face of the boy who had laughed at me. My finger moved. I hit the red decline button. The call stopped. The screen went back to our chat. The 3 dots were gone. Before I could even take a breath, my phone buzzed again. Ben. Incoming call. He was calling back. Immediately. I didn't hesitate. I hit decline again. The call stopped. I tapped his name at the top of the chat. I scrolled down the contact page, past the pictures, past all our shared media. I went to the very bottom, block this contact. I pressed it, block. The chat window closed. His name disappeared from my message list. It was over. My thumb was still resting on the screen, right where I had pressed block. I was looking at my message list. It looked clean, empty. His name, which had been at the top for so long, was just gone. My phone was silent. It wasn't buzzing with his calls anymore. The 3 dots weren't flashing at me. The quiet in my room was huge. It pressed in on me from all sides. My heart was still beating, a slow, heavy thump in my chest, but the frantic, panicked feeling was gone. I could breathe. The air went all the way down into my lungs. It felt cold. I wasn't cured. I wasn't happy. My stomach was a hard, cold knot. I felt heartbroken. The boy I thought I knew, the one from 6 months ago, was a lie. Or maybe he was real, and he just left. And he let this new, cruel version of himself stay. I didn't know which was worse. But the self-doubt was gone. The choking, suffocating feeling that I was the problem, that I was crazy, that my own feelings were wrong. It had evaporated. The screenshots had burned it away. I was heartbroken, but I wasn't crazy. And in a strange, sad way that felt like breathing again, I closed my messages. I opened my photo gallery. I was back where I started. My camera roll, I scrolled down. I scrolled past the pictures from today, past the picture of my lunch, past the skyline. I scrolled down and down, back 6 months, and there he was, Ben Us. The first picture was from the basketball game. His arm was tight around my shoulder. I was wearing his jacket, and my face was red from yelling. We were both smiling so hard, I stared at his face. I stared at my face. We looked so happy. We were. I wasn't imagining it. It was real. It just wasn't real anymore. My thumb moved. I tapped the picture. It opened, filling my screen. His smile. I tapped the small trash can icon at the bottom of the screen. A small menu slid up. Delete photo. I looked at his face one last time. Then I pressed the red text. The picture vanished. I was back at my camera roll. I moved to the next one. A selfie he'd taken of us in his car. His cheek was pressed against my hair. I tapped the trash can. I tapped delete photo. It was gone. I didn't pause. I didn't cry. I just kept going, my movements mechanical. It was a rhythm. Tap, delete, confirm. The picture from the coffee shop, the first one, where he was holding my hand across the table. Tap, delete, confirm. The video he took of me laughing at a stupid movie. Tap, delete, confirm. One by one, our history disappeared. The last 6 months of my life, deleted. I kept scrolling and deleting until I reached the top. Until I was back at the pictures of my shoes. The pictures of me, alone. I locked my phone. The screen went black. I sat there in my dark, quiet room. For months, I thought the problem was me. I thought my feelings were a flaw. I doubted myself. The screenshots didn't just show me his betrayal. They showed me my own intuition, clear as a bell. I finally saw it. I finally believed it. The only thing worse than being lied to by him was realizing how long I'd been lying to myself.